Right here? Okay. All right. Thanks everybody for coming. So I think most Americans believe you have to live within your means. You find out this is how much money I'm going to make, and this is how much money I get to spend. Might want to buy something else, but you don't do it. When you're in business, you know if you don't balance your budget, eventually the banks, whoever your lender is going to walk away from you. They're going to say, oh, you can't do that anymore. Up here, that doesn't seem to be the case. There's a belief up here that there is no limit what we can spend money on. It doesn't make any sense. As a parent and a grandparent, you don't say, you know what, I'm going to leave a whole bunch of debt to my kids and my grandkids. You would never even think about doing that. And when you look at who's getting impacted the most, just look at over the last 20 years as we've just dramatically increased the spending in this country. The rich are getting richer. Wall Street does really well, okay? And who gets hurt? The poor. Gas prices are up, food prices are up, housing prices are up. Look at somebody getting out of school today and try to buy a house. Look at just the cost of housing in this country. But everything, and it's caused by reckless government spending. Now, if you just look at what's happened since the COVID, anybody have an idea what our population increase has been since 2019, since the pre-COVID year? How many, as a percentage, how many more Americans? The number is 1.8%. So there's a 1.8% increase in the number of people living in the country. But if you go back, if you go look at the Biden budget, it would be a 55% increase. 55% increase from pre-COVID. There's no chance that we're going to live within our budget, live within our means. You can do it. When I became the governor of Florida, Florida had not lived within its means for 20 straight years. Everybody says, oh, the states have to live within their means. Complete fallacy. Just borrow more money. The state of Florida borrowed an additional $1 billion every year for 20 years. We're going in default on some of our debt. So what we did the first year, we said, this is how much money we're going to collect. This is how much we're going to spend. And guess what? We did it for 8 years. We balanced about shocking. A state balanced our budget. And we actually paid off in 8 years a third of the state debt. We can do the same thing up here. Now, here's what I'm appreciative about the Freedom Caucus. They have put out their ideas, right? And if you think about it, there's two things we have to do. We have to say we're going to make some structural changes because up here, if we don't change, this is never going to get better. I've been up here 4 years. It's getting worse. The deficits are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So two things. One, what they've done is they said, here's some ideas that we can do, and let's have a conversation. On top of it, they said, these are some ways, this is some areas where we can take some money back and save some money. Why don't we have a conversation about that? Who am I disappointed with? Joe Biden, Chuck Schumer. They don't even want to have a conversation. So this is wrong. So I'm very optimistic with what the Freedom Caucus has done. We have a great opportunity to start the process of doing what every family in this country does, businesses do, is living within our means.